I just wanted to understand, because you've gone the route of creating the booths that you're using as your testing centers. Are you moving them to the customers, or do you expect them to come to you, or is it both?
So right now, the booth is stationary. So it's in the community that we were targeting. That's a border community with Lagos State. So one that we saw is particularly high risk. So for this particular site, it is a stationary testing location. We have thought as well about what it looks like to bring testing to people. And I think there have been a few different models to look at. One that's like a truck-based model that one of our investors is actually working on right now in a different part of the country. Initially, before we had set up this testing site, the state was mostly doing sample collection by going into people's homes and collecting samples. We found that can be good in some ways because it's convenient for the patient. They don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to kind of set up and secure a location. But it had some drawbacks too. One being that you have to completely change all of your PPE every time you're going into a new house. So that's a pretty heavy cost. The other is that, you know, showing up in a Ministry of Health truck with people dressed in full PPE going into your home can also be pretty stressful. And there's a lot of stigma right now around COVID. So we saw that patients were kind of like, okay, you can come test me, but like, don't come near my house. I'll meet you over here. Like, I don't want people to see the van driving in my community. So there were some issues around that. So I think there's definitely like pros and cons to having more mobile options. And maybe there's a middle ground where it's not going into people's homes, but it's also not having a completely stationary site. And that's something we've been thinking even before COVID. We were looking at doing mobile ultrasound units. Because a lot of our ultrasounds that we use now are mobile. They're pretty small, and so we can pick them up and move them around. So we actually just are in the process of buying a van to use for mobile diagnostics that we will probably not go to people's homes, but go to different community sites to provide testing. And that's also a way that we could move COVID-19 sample collection around as well. So I think, yeah, it's definitely, you know, there are like pros and cons with every option, and we have seen some really cool models with the mobile diagnostics recently.
Great, thanks.